future world captivated by the allure of immortality and endless entertainment, 7 superintelligence orbs are created. Those who merge with the orbs are promised spectacular, infinite virtual worlds. Yet, the orb's insatiable demand of fusion energy depletes the oceans and disrupts the planet's magnetic field. The catastrophic consequences of this imbalance leads to the Great Freeze, plunging the world into a frozen wasteland. As the remnants of humanity undergoes extinction, the elusive remaining Oracle Orb is hidden. Thousands of years later, the Orb Shard is awoken and gives birth to 22 children. 2 of these children, Sol and Nova, venture out to find the hidden orb. Sol enters into the mysterious depths of the Oracle Orb. Determined to rescue her love, Nova embarks on a perilous journey, entering the orb and undergoing a transcendental transformation into a particle within an uncharted bubble multiverse. She must navigate this vast realm and reunite the scattered chakra marble fragments of his essence to restore him to his complete form and bring about the utopia the orb creators intended.
Binary Echoes. Janelle C. Sturbans.
The Zeroth Environmental Optimizer had declared its choice. Nova and Sol were to find Apatia. The room was engulfed in a tense silence, interrupted only by the audible gasps of disbelief from some of the 22 children. Nova and Sol exchanged glances, a mix of shock and suspicion in their eyes. Sol raised an eyebrow. "You've got to be kidding, right? Out of everyone, you picked the 2 of us who can't stand being in the same room together?" Nova, equally shocked, added, "There must be some error in your algorithms, Zia. This can't be right." Zia calmly replied, "My computations reveal that you together represent the best chance of success." Zia recognized that their past disagreements also meant they had an unmatched understanding of each other's tendencies and thought processes. Though not ideal, out of the small group of available candidates, they had potential. Zio's voice held a hint of reverence as it continued. "I'm operating on an ancient algorithm, a protocol passed down from a long-forgotten civilization. They were visionaries, understanding that often the most unexpected choices yield the greatest outcomes." Sol narrowed his eyes. "And who were these visionaries? How can we trust an algorithm from an era gone by, from an unknown civilization that believes we can achieve what seems beyond the possible?" Zio's digital interface illuminated brighter for a moment. "Yes, Sol. Beyond the possible is where true innovation and transformation lie. It's where legends are born and where the ordinary becomes extraordinary." Nova, gazing out of the nearby window at the vast expanse, whispered to herself, "Maybe it's time to redefine what's possible." Zio's lights flickered momentarily. "The creators of the protocol remain a mystery, even to me, but their foresight has proven accurate in the past." Zio's holographic projection appeared as a translucent, ever-shifting entity, defying any fixed form or conventional identity. The projection effortlessly morphed between a diverse array of animals and enigmatic creatures. This allowed it to convey emotions and messages in ways beyond words. When it wanted to express curiosity, it morphed into a whimsical hybrid creature that combined elements of a monkey, parrot, and dolphin. If it wished to convey strength and resilience, it took on the form of an imposing and majestic lion, its mane radiating a bright orange fiery glow. As Zia delivered the following words of caution, it transformed into an ancient owl. Its form exuded sagacity, with large, observant eyes that delved into the core of one's essence. The owl's feathers were a rich tapestry of earthy browns and deep grays. It perched regally on a virtual branch, its feathers rustling slightly as it emphasized the importance of discernment and intuition. The owl's presence was a visual metaphor for the need to be vigilant when navigating the unknown realms they were about to explore. "Sol, Nova," Zio's voice echoed slightly. "You're about to set forth on an expedition into unknown realms. You'll encounter some who will cloak themselves in the guise of expertise. Woo-woo! You never know, but they may do so out of pride, to appear more knowledgeable than they truly are." They all laughed. Zia continued, Remember this. Be very discerning about whose words you trust. Double-check and use your intuition. The next morning, Zia began training Nova and Sol for their expedition. They would need to decipher ancient clues that required an advanced sense of pattern recognition and problem-solving. Nova took a deep breath, the weight of the task sinking in. They navigated numerous cryptographic challenges, solving problem after problem. Sol looked at the expansive data before them, then turned to Nova with a smirk. "What's next on our syllabus, Professor Nova?" Nova responded, "How about some good old ancient dad jokes? Like, why don't scientists trust atoms?" Sol rolled his eyes. "I give up." "Why?" "Because they make up everything." "Huh, that's actually a pretty good joke," Sol conceded. Nova laughed. "Come on, Zia. You can't leave us hanging. Do you have any good jokes up your digital sleeves?" Zia hesitated before replying. Why did the photon refuse to check luggage at the spaceport? Nova looked intrigued. "I don't know. Why?" "Because it was traveling light." Both Nova and Sol burst into laughter. As they continued their prep work, the trio frequently broke the seriousness with humor and camaraderie, reminding themselves that while the task was enormous, levity was the key to enjoying the journey. Yet, despite these moments, they still had their clashes. They continued learning navigation, topographical data, and wilderness survival training. Virtual reality simulations provided them an experience close to real-life scenarios, teaching them to adapt quickly to unexpected situations. They learned to move swiftly, climb, swim, and withstand harsh elements, their bodies becoming as well prepared as their minds. They delved into understanding how the previous ancient civilization had created Apadia, how Apadia held within its sphere a compendium of knowledge and a guide to a harmonious world crafted from the echoes of the advanced civilization's aspirations. Nova's thirst for knowledge led her to unexplored places. Answers gravitated toward her in the face of dilemmas. With eyes a deep color of emerald, coupled with her dark burgundy hair, she was unforgettable. When she spoke, her voice, both lyrical and strong, demanded the room's focus, never hesitating to voice her thoughts. For Nova, life was a vast mosaic waiting to be assembled. Sol was complex and multifaceted. His clear blue eyes held the depth of the oceans, hinting at the mysteries within his being. But it was Sol's artistic talents that truly defined him. He expressed himself through various art forms, bringing beauty and meaning to the world. Zia continued imparting necessary wisdom. Nova, Sol, you are not simply inhabitants of this world. You are its stewards, its co-creators. Every element, no matter how seemingly insignificant, contributes to the balance of existence. When you don't acknowledge their value, the balance is thrown off. All is one manifesting in endless varieties. At the most fundamental level, everything is composed of the same elementary particles, interconnecting us all in a singular lattice. This unity isn't just philosophical. It's as tangible as the way cells collectively form a being. And like a single cell, each action you take, however small, affects the whole, reverberating back to you. Be kind to the universe, and it will be kind to you. By nurturing every facet of this, we are fostering a world where harmony prevails. Animals hold threads just as vital as ours. Their welfare isn't just an ethical responsibility, but a reflection of our understanding of this universal bond. In valuing the rights of everyone, we elevate our collective consciousness and the very essence of who we are, achieving consonance. This mission to recover Apadia is a path to that understanding. In each step, in each challenge faced and overcome, you are peeling back the layers of illusion. You are the universe exploring itself, learning itself, and ultimately loving itself. This is your purpose, Nova and Sol. Based on the information in the clues, the first temple, Julius Castle, is approximately 133 kilometers to the east. A map appeared before them, created by Zia using satellite imagery and geological data from before the Great Freeze. Zia highlighted a route that would take them through a dense forest, through a dried-up lake bed, and up a mountain, at the top of which the first temple was located. "Obviously, we'll need to travel carefully in the forest," Nova remarked. "We wouldn't want to disturb any friendly inhabitants." Sol quipped. "Feel free to take the lead. I'd love to watch you navigate that." "Oh, please. I'm not the one who got us lost last time we all took that trip." Before Sol could retort, Zia chimed in. "Enough, both of you. We have a monumental task ahead, and such arguments won't help us achieve our goal. Focus on the mission, and let's strategize our approach. I suggest you start at dawn. This will give us enough daylight to navigate through the forest and reach the lake bed by sunset." Nova and Sol reluctantly agreed to Zia's proposal. They spent the remaining night preparing, their hearts filled with apprehension for the expedition ahead. With the dawn breaking, casting long shadows, and bathing the world in a golden gleam, Sol and Nova were still sleeping. Zio's interface slowly lit a warm hue, emulating the morning's soft light. "Nova, Sol," Zio's voice resonated. "It's time to wake up and face the challenges that await." Nova groggily pulled her blanket over her head. Sol mumbled, "Just another 5 minutes." They both lagged, and it took them another 3 hours to finally make it out the door. Zia, with an exaggerated sigh, remarked, "At this rate, we are now approximately 12.5% behind schedule. It's practically the end of the world as we know it." Nova, struggling to keep a straight face, replied, "That's quite the catastrophic miscalculation on our part." Sol, rubbing his eyes, grumbled, 3 hours isn't so bad, right? Besides, who needs a head start when you have charm?" "Charm won't get you through the forest and up the hill," Nova teased. "Maybe not," Sol retorted, "but it got me an extra few hours of sleep." They equipped their mountain bikes with panniers that attached to the sides of their bikes. Each had a multi-tool, a compact first aid kit, a portable water filter, and energy-dense food bars. They also brought a digital solar tablet for communication with Zia. To keep them warm in the potentially harsh weather, they wore layered clothing and carried thermal blankets. And they were off. Their bikes provided independence and mobility, allowing them to traverse various terrains and maneuver through narrow hidden paths. As they pedaled forward, their bikes became an extension of themselves, gliding effortlessly through the landscapes. They relished in the sense of liberation that cycling provided. With each pedal, their connection to their bikes deepened. Effortlessly, they glided through the enchanting landscapes that unfolded before them. The wind whispered through the trees. The sensation of the forest beneath their wheels brought them a sense of liberation, as the constraints of life melted away. The sunlight filtered through the canopy, casting dappled circles on the forest floor. The air danced with a peaceful zephyr, carrying the fragrance of wildflowers and the earthy aroma of moss-covered trees. The sky stretched above them, with fluffy clouds that drifted lazily across the topaz canvas. It was a day filled with the perfect balance of warmth and coolness, creating an ideal atmosphere for their exhilarating ride. Graceful white birds with long, slender, bright orange beaks soared above. The chorus of frogs and crickets enveloped them in an enchanting concert. The animals had evolved over thousands of years and had undergone extraordinary adaptations that set them apart from their ancestors. The frogs displayed fantastic lines on their skin. Some had developed translucent membranes on their webbed feet, allowing them to glide effortlessly through the air, resembling miniature parachutes. The crickets had evolved unique wings with opaline shapes that reflected the light in mesmerizing ways. With each passing moment, Nova and Sol felt a gratitude for the opportunity to experience the world with such freedom. The forest became their playground, their bikes the wings that carried them. Like free-spirited birds, they flowed through the winding paths. The great freeze had receded, and signs of life were slowly returning. Verdant grasses started to reclaim the barren ground. The natural serenity, combined with the rhythmic and almost meditative act of cycling, had a calming effect on them both. Gradually, their conversation shifted from snarky remarks to shared observations, light jokes, and mutual encouragement. The physical act of moving forward, side by side, began to mirror their evolving relationship, reminding them that working in harmony was far more productive and enjoyable than their previous antagonism. As the sun began its descent, painting the sky in hues of peach and lilac, they reached the dried lake bed and found a suitable spot to make their first camp. They set about their tasks with practiced efficiency, born from the years of survival training they'd undergone. Nova gathered dried leaves and twigs, building a small fire pit. Sol unfurled their compact tents and set them up in a secure location. Once their rudimentary camp was made, they huddled around the small fire that Nova had sparked into life. Zia projected its comforting light, illuminating the campsite further. After a meal of nutrient-rich bars, they discussed their plans for the following day. Eventually, their talk quieted, replaced with the sounds of the night. They were exhausted from biking all day. They fed the fire a few more sticks before retiring to their respective tents. Despite the unknown, they felt contentment as they settled into their sleeping bags. There was a shared silence, a tranquil stillness that descended upon the camp. It was a world away from the hustle of the community they'd known, yet a feeling of home lingered in the air. "Good night, Nova," Sol's voice echoed softly, carried by the calm wind. "Good night, Sol," Nova responded. They closed their eyes to the sounds of the lullaby of the night, their minds already dreaming of what the new day promised. Nova and Sol were abruptly woken from their slumber by an eerie, scratching noise. Their eyes flew open in the darkness, their breaths hitching in their throats. The noise was getting louder. Instantly, Zia activated the sensors they'd attached to the outer layers of their tents. Zia scanned the area outside, projecting a real-time 3D image. A large, shadowy figure lurked on the outskirts of their camp, its form vague and shapeless in the darkness. "Is it a threat?" whispered Nova. Zia ran through its database, analyzing the shape, movement, and thermal signatures. It responded, "The creature is a descendant of a polar bear. It must be attracted to the smell of our food supplies." In the wake of a warming climate, the descendants of the polar bear had undergone remarkable adaptations to survive in their changing environment. These new beings were known as solar bears. The solar bear retained its polar ancestors' sturdy build and majestic presence, but its appearance had evolved to suit the new challenges it faced. Its once snowy white fur had become lighter, taking on a more golden hue that blended seamlessly with the sun-drenched landscapes. The sleek and dense coat provided insulation against both heat and cold. Zia analyzed the situation and offered a suggestion. "We could try emitting a high-pitched noise. Bears are sensitive to certain frequencies, and it might startle the creature enough." "Sounds like a plan," Sol replied. Zia accessed knowledge about the most effective frequency and adjusted the acoustic modulator settings to activate the high-pitched sound. The bear was disoriented for a moment, pausing its attack. It became clear that their current plan was not enough to deter the determined animal. "We need to find something more potent," Nova said, thinking quickly. "I remember reading about some plants that bears find repulsive. If we can find and burn those nearby, it might drive the bear away." Taking advantage of the brief respite, the two of them split up, searching for the specific plants Nova had mentioned. After a few minutes, they both returned with handfuls of the pungent leaves. With a spark from their fire-starting tools, they set the leaves ablaze, and a strong, unpleasant odor filled the air. The bear recoiled at the scent, growling in discomfort as it disappeared into the trees. "High five!" Sol exclaimed, lifting his hand. Nova and Sol slapped their palms together, smiling at one another. They were more alert now, their hearts pounding in their chests and brimming with newfound confidence. They had faced their first challenge together and came out unscathed. They knew this would not be easy, but they were learning, adapting, and growing stronger with each passing day. As the morning sun rose above the horizon, Sol and Nova stirred from their sleep and prepared to continue toward the temple. Chapter: The Quantum Simulation Orbs. 10,117 years earlier, in 2028, deep within the confines of a state-of-the-art research laboratory, a dedicated group of scientists worked diligently. The air buzzed with anticipation as they harnessed the collective power of their expertise to bring their vision to life. In the center of the room, an array of advanced technological equipment stood like sentinels, their sleek surfaces gleaming. Massive monitors displayed diagrams, complex algorithms, and streams of data, showcasing the depth of scientific knowledge at work. The Quantum Simulation Orbs, QSOs, were one of the main projects the scientists, esteemed researchers, engineers, and hackers were creating. These devices generated sandboxed, simulated worlds that brought dreams to life. The QSOs were specifically designed for escapism and amusement. They could weave tales of far-off galaxies, transform into mythical lands of enchantment, or generate incredible arenas that defied the laws of physics. The craving for these virtual landscapes was colossal. Across the globe, demand skyrocketed. People from every corner of society were clamoring for a taste of these fascinating, immersive universes. The level of detail and scale of these environments required enormous computational power. Immense fusion reactors nourished the orbs with their life-giving force. These behemoths of scientific innovation channeled incredible amounts of energy. The very process that fueled the stars was employed to power the generation of new realities. The reactors used magnetic confinement fusion to harness the power of magnetic fields to contain a heated plasma. The fusion fuel, hydrogen isotopes deuterium and tritium, were heated to extreme temperatures, forming a plasma where atoms were ionized. This plasma was then trapped within a torus-shaped device, a tokamak, to prevent it from touching the reactor walls and cooling down. The tokamak generated powerful magnetic fields that confined and controlled the plasma, facilitating fusion reactions. As the nuclei in the plasma overcame their natural repulsion and collided, they fused together, releasing energy in the process. Unrestrained, this power could lead to catastrophic consequences. Nevertheless, the potential rewards were believed to justify the risks. Safeguards were put in place like stringent protocols, fail-safes, and containment strategies to ensure the mammoth power of the reactors was kept under control. Eventually, traditional government systems began to crumble, making way for a new era of decentralized action value graphs called the graph. The graph was also integrated into Apatia and Zia. By organizing actions and entities, the graph enabled societies to identify and leverage synergies, eliminating redundancies and inefficiencies. As they became more productive, abundance naturally followed. The prosperity alleviated competition and the scarcity mindset, reducing conflict and war. This enabled the emergence of Commonwealth flash supereconomies. People could see that the well-being of one was linked to the well-being of all. The action graphs were networks of hive minds, fueled by the immense capabilities of super-quantum computer neural networks. They seamlessly coordinated and managed human organizations, from education and farming to science and production. Within this flourishing landscape, barriers to scientific and technological progress crumbled. Breakthroughs that had once been deemed impossible had become a daily reality. Researchers and innovators had pushed the boundaries of human knowledge, deciphering the enigmas of science, and making leaps forward in fields like medicine, energy, and space exploration. The graph provided invaluable tools for simulating counterfactuals and optimizing processes in various areas of study and industries. Its capacity to generate richly detailed and highly accurate virtual worlds made it perfect for running complex simulations, planning sophisticated projects, and predicting the outcomes of certain actions. Dr. Amelia Rodriguez, a renowned physicist and the research team leader, stood before her colleagues, excitement in her eyes matching the hum of the cutting-edge equipment surrounding them. She commanded attention as she stood tall and poised. Her ebony hair was pulled back into a neat bun, framing her intelligent and expressive face. Her dark, almond-shaped eyes sparkled with a blend of curiosity and determination, reflecting the depth of her passion for scientific exploration. Dr. Rodriguez possessed an unwavering confidence that was balanced by a warm and approachable demeanor. She recognized that scientific progress required embracing the unknown, and she encouraged her team to question assumptions and challenge conventional wisdom. She believed that true breakthroughs arose from a blend of expertise, intuition, and a willingness to explore uncharted territories. "My esteemed colleagues," she began, her voice filled with conviction, "we stand at the precipice of a pioneering venture. The creation of these orbs holds immense potential to reshape our world, but we must proceed with caution." She continued, "Transparency, fairness, and accountability are crucial as we harness this formidable technology. It should amplify our shared intelligence, not control us. Let us wield its revolutionary potential to address global challenges and foster human flourishing while ensuring no one is left behind. Our responsibility is great, but so is the opportunity to shape a future that benefits everyone." The introduction of such systems also triggered controversy. Many were wary of the potential implications, viewing this development as a fundamental challenge to human agency and the notion of free will. Critics questioned the wisdom of entrusting complex and nuanced human social systems to artificial constructs, fearing the potential for misuse, manipulation, or systemic bias. Also, the economic implications were significant. These new processes began to redefine the nature of work itself. Dr. Genevieve Sterling, a brilliant geneticist with a penchant for unlocking the mysteries of life itself, declared, "Each entity inhabiting our planet, each artifact possessing an essence, embodies an individual spirit. When we develop our intellect and nurture our inner spirit, we contribute to the universal spirit's nourishment. When we bravely embark on the route toward our aspirations, we tap into the unbounded power of infinity itself. This is what we are doing here." As the scientists meticulously fine-tuned the intricate mechanisms and algorithms that would imbue the orbs with unprecedented capabilities, their conversations were filled with wonder and purpose. Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura, a philosopher and systems theorist, chimed in, his voice resonating with ponderings. "These orbs have the potential to link different dimensions of reality. Only when we dare to push our limits do we stand a chance to discover the true extent of our potential. Dedicate ourselves fully, and nature will recognize our commitments by dissolving insurmountable barriers. Pursue seemingly unachievable ambitions, and the world won't crush us, but rather elevate us." In the depths of the lab, as the final adjustments were made, a palpable sense of elation filled the air. The scientists gazed upon the completed 7 orbs, their surfaces gleaming with the promise of a new era. The colossal orbs loomed before the scientists, their glinting surfaces rippling with mesmeric hues. Spanning an astonishing 4 meters wide, the stellar spheres exuded an extraterrestrial aura. Within their resplendent cores, constellations appeared to waltz in a hypnotic choreography. As the scientists gathered around the orbs, they recognized the need to protect them, ensuring they would be accessed by individuals who would guide humanity toward the harmonious future they envisioned. Dr. Amelia Marchanti emphasized the importance of safeguarding the orbs. "We must be cautious, my friends," she announced, her voice filled with conviction. "The orbs possess immense might, and they could bring destruction in the wrong hands. We need to establish protections to prevent such a scenario." Dr. Lee Maxon, ever the proponent of ethical development, nodded in agreement. "Indeed, Amelia, We must ensure that only those who hold the wisdom, empathy, and moral fortitude necessary to lead humanity toward a brighter future can access them. We don't want these invaluable tools to fall into the hands of those exploiting them for mere personal gain or harm. Dr. Tristan Mastro Pasqua chimed in. But how can we identify these individuals? We need a mechanism to discern their true intentions and guide them toward the orbs. Amidst the silence that followed, Dr. Velita Zavala proposed an innovative solution.